Visual novels are interactive stories that deserve a closer look. This video game genre is a semi-interactive medium, and it uses book-like elements to showcase a compelling story for a variety of audiences. And while the visual novels may have some similarities, each one stands out from the rest. Now I'm going to tell you about the best visual novel games of all time. There's a good choice here, from gripping mysteries to intriguing dramas to whet your appetite. Set in a cyberpunk dystopia, the game will have you playing as a bartender in a seedy bar better known as Valhalla. The setting is gloomy, with cyberpunkish neon colors and dim lighting. Of course, most of the game is dedicated to the bartender, since this is a visual novel based on this concept. You will cater to all sorts of clientele that walks through your door, from robots and celebrities to dogs and assassins. The game has a story with different endings. You have to mix drinks with proper skill and serve them to the right people in order to move forward and get the best endings. It's all about the drinks as you go through the stories of every person you come across. An elite high school scholarship student will have a very bad first day. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc tells the story of Makoto Neji as he embarks on his educational journey at Hope's Peak Academy. The school only accepts students who have already reached the top of their field. However, Makoto is a painfully average guy who just won the luck-based lottery for admission. As soon as Makoto enters the front door, he passes out and wakes up in a bright, nightmarish version of the academy with no hope of escape. At that precise moment, the new headmaster, the two-faced Care Bear Monokuma, tells Makoto and his classmates something important. They can either accept their fate and live their lives right inside the school, or they can start a brutal and stealthy killing game to earn the right to graduate and re-enter the world. While the house in Fata Morgana only provides a few interactive dialogue options, they have little impact on the story. Before we even talk about the scrumptious storytelling, let's examine its delightful packaging. The hypnotically dreamy soundtrack takes you into the house's fantasy world and can be played on repeat without monotony. The art draws inspiration from Persona's distinctly old-school style, adding to the mystique. This is a painfully beautiful story about a man who wakes up with no memory of his past in an abandoned mansion, and also about all the people who lived there before. In a series of horror tales where people are maimed, torn apart, and stabbed alive, you follow our protagonist through 4 past incarnations of the house's life. It instills a subtle sense of darkness and foreboding that lasts long after completion. Even if visual novels aren't exactly your forte, Doki Doki Literature Club is the brainchild of Team Salvato that everyone has heard of. Although the game is a lighthearted dating sim, its cutesy appearance belies its true nature as a psychological horror. All is not as it seems. Doki Doki Literature Club follows a high school student who reluctantly joins a literary club at the whim of his childhood best friend. From there, he can romantically pursue 3 of the 4 female members, working his way into their hearts with handcrafted poems. Doki Doki Literature Club ranks among the most unconventional visual novels. The game breaks the 4th wall extensively, using a self-aware and compulsive approach to induce discomfort and shatter all dating simulator cliches. Ingenious and diabolical Dan Salvato's creation is a love letter to the genre it represents, and absolutely the first of its kind. Fans of science fiction and games like Nier Automata will enjoy Analog: A Hate Story. The story revolves around a ship that was sent into space years before the start of the novel to establish the first interstellar space colony. Unfortunately, the operation does not go according to plan, and the crew disappears. You will have to read the journals of the dead crew members and find out what happened to them while they were accompanied by AI. The game also has several romantic options and many possible endings. This is one of the highest rated visual novels due to its dark story and captivating characters. Clannad started out as a visual novel game and then got its own anime adaptation. While many prefer the anime adaptation to the original material, the visual novel offers a better pace and the opportunity to explore many of the routes not covered in the first season of Clannad. The plot is about the same as in the anime. The story revolves around Tomoya Okazaki, a delinquent-turned father figure, and his relationships with the show's main female cast and his male friend Sonohara. The main conclusion of the visual novel is that the events that transpire in after story flow better, and some characters are given more time to express themselves. The slow pace of events allows fans to become more attached to the main cast, including those who were minor characters in the anime. The visual novel better explores Tomoe's relationship with Nagisa's parents and makes them feel more connected. You will see how Tomoya and his friends endure more severe trials in their adult lives. You can also take the story in whatever direction you want, unlike in anime. This is possible thanks to the inclusion of alternative routes in the game. If you're looking for something different, be sure to check out Ayakana, 4 Rhythms Across the Blue. The visual novel is one of the best rated, and although it has some elements of romance, it focuses on an interesting new futuristic sport. Ayakana's characters wear special anti-graviton shoes and compete to be the best in a game called Flying Circus. This visual novel has impressive art and a unique premise that should keep players hooked. The Letter is a hardcore visual novel with over 700,000 words. The full script is much longer than Les Miserables, and some of its less action-packed scenes run much longer than they should. Due to the frequent switching of perspectives between the 7 main characters, you will often feel like you have spent hours without making any decisions. However, The Letter completely reverses the illusion of choice that has plagued so many story-driven games. While you may feel like you're reading the story without much influence, the amount of possible variation in The Letter is absolutely wild. Each of the 7 heroes can live or die, depending on how you shape the events, and a wide range of romantic couples can be nudged towards or away from each other. There are a lot of moving parts in this visual novel, and their gears are hidden with amazing subtlety, so don't worry, you won't actually read 700,000 words in one go. Hatoful Boyfriend is a brilliantly absurd visual novel and a weird dating sim. All characters in the game are pigeons, except for the protagonist. You set out on a journey to find love among all your animal acquaintances while attending an elite academy only for birds. With a vast lineup, there's an adoring pigeon for anyone. While it can be confusing how a game like this creates a great sense of romance, the small details make it fun to pursue different romantic interests. The twists and turns will take you by surprise, and ultimately, thanks to the comedic value of it all, Hatoful Boyfriend is worth a try. Milk Inside a Bag of Milk Inside a Bag of Milk, developed by Russian game developer Nikita Krukov, is a psychological horror visual novel. Aside from the lengthy title, the nearly all magenta color scheme makes this creepy game intriguing. This game is also strange, but not enough to confuse you. Even though the story is cryptic, you can still get a good idea of what makes this quirky character go to the store for a bag of milk. Yumineko is a series of mystery visual novels, worth playing if you're craving more family drama. There are a total of 8 main games in the series that you can try out, but you'll get the hang of them quickly. The visual novel tells the story of 18 people on a secluded island who must solve a murder mystery. Even worse, you are all connected in some way to each other. Lovers of detective movies and mystery crime novels will enjoy trying to figure out who the killer is in this game. There aren't many interactive elements in the game, so you'll have to figure it out with text, dialogue, and the in-game hint feature. This only makes the task more difficult and makes it a great exercise for your brain. Yumineko When They Cry is without a doubt one of the best visual novels of all time, especially for drama and mystery fans. Nausea combines a dreamy art style, a trippy lo-fi soundtrack, and gameplay that is not vastly different from If Among Us had intelligent crewmates and a story. The game carefully guides you, gradually adding new roles as you decipher which space station crew members are being overtaken by the deadly nausea. By talking to the members every morning, you use RPG-style stats to give you better instincts for who is playing loose with the truth. The cycle repeats itself as different people become nausea and understand your multifaceted partners as they participate in different roles. Fill your journal with the information you got from Groundhog Day, and your puzzle will be complete. In addition to being the source of a viral meme, Phoenix Wright is also a great visual novel for those who enjoy courtroom debate and investigations. The story follows Phoenix Nick Wright, a rookie defense attorney who attempts to have his clients declared not guilty. The player controls Phoenix through 2 sets of sections: investigations and courtroom trials. During investigations, which usually take place before or between courtroom trials, you will gather information and talk to the client, witnesses, and police. You do all this in the hope that your client will be found not guilty. Phoenix Wright is an enjoyable game, as enjoyable as all the memes it's been creating over the years. Not all visual novels place much emphasis on romance or relationships. Those who are looking for something more exciting and mysterious should look into the Bad End Theater. In this colorful visual novel, the player will have to make decisions to protect or hinder some of the characters. The choices made can affect the stories of each individual involved, and players will have to go through multiple storylines to see the fate of each cast member present. Bad End Theater differs from the usual visual novels in its dark and at the same time strangely appealing art style. So here's my list of the best visual novel games of all time. If you have something to add, feel free to leave any comments here. If you liked this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel.